Ukraine has not changed its European choice or direction in spite of aggression of Russia, and we will talk about this to deputies, to members of European Parliament from Latvia and Czech Republic.
The members of the European Parliament from Latvia and Czech Republic, Sandra, Kalniete and Jaromír ŠTÉTINA, who will debrief us on the new European perspectives for Ukraine. You're welcome.
Good. It's already. To begin, I will tell you that this is my 5th visit this year to Ukraine, and the first one was on 20th February. Then I was witness of the most cruel killings which were done, and I also was witness how during several hours the members of parliament gathered and finally with their votes changed the situation for the best, and now Ukraine is on its way to become normal democratic country. I will give floor to Jaromír to present himself, and then I will get back to the aim of the mission.
Thank you for the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to use the Russian language because I think that it is necessary to use the Russian language in that situation. This date, эту дату, я жил в гостинице.
This date, I stayed in a Ukraine hotel on the 3rd floor. I heard the first shots at 8:05 this morning. I was a journalist previously, so I looked at the watch, and in 10 minutes a first wounded person was brought here. He died later. He was not from Maidan. He was from a upper barricade. And I tell you that there were killed on both sides. In a couple of minutes there was a field hospital. And this was very hard for me, but as early as Friday on the 23rd, we had 10 dead young men, and a lady professor, medical doctor who was in charge of this field hospital, she showed us everyone was shot very precisely in their neck or in their head. And this means that the shots were fired by professionals. I asked the personnel of the hotel, because some of the snipers were shooting from upper floors of this hotel, and they said that 14 days before, prior to this shooting, some men have hired a room or rooms at higher floors who that day left the hotel. So I think this was a huge provocation that had to destabilize the situation in Ukraine. I just wanted to tell you that this produced a great impression on me, and I honor very much the Heavenly Hundred who died here.
Both are friends of Ukraine, not only by political declarations, but also by our presence and also by our work in the European Parliament. We came here with the mission not only to support pro-European political parties, but also to meet people, to meet NGOs. We both are coming from organized NGO gathering, Parliament for Reform, and in the afternoon we will meet IDPs, and then all what we have seen discussed with Prime Minister Yatsenuk, with President of European Commission in Rada, and with Mayor of Kiev Klitschko. We will report both back to Brussels. Few words about myself. I forget to present. I work in Foreign Relations Committee in the European Parliament, and I am Vice President of European People's Party, to which belong Batkivshina, EUDAR, two Ukrainian parties. I would like to assure you that you have many friends in European Parliament, and we proved it when we simultaneously with Rada ratified association agreement between EU and Ukraine, notwithstanding the opposition from radicals left and right. The same applies to next week expected vote for autonomous trade measures, which will prolong the access of Ukrainian goods unilaterally to European market. It is important as a measure to adopt association agreement. What also we would like to confirm that European People's Party we are representing stands strongly on the position of territorial integrity of Ukraine, and also on the position that Crimea is an integral part of Ukraine. A few words about ceasefire. Here in Ukraine, as well as in European Union, we use this term ceasefire. However, we understand that there is no true ceasefire, that there are people killed every day and fights and conflicts going on every day. And what I would like to say to those who stand behind incitation to violence, that if there will be more war, there will be more sanctions from European Union. I know that one of the most urgent problems in Ukraine are energy resources. And we had also a meeting with the Vice Minister of Energy because we wanted to know what is the vision of Ukraine and expectations for 21st October negotiations in Berlin. Last week we met with Commissioner Oettinger, and he confirmed that the previous negotiations show good progress and there is hope to sign this agreement. However, just today I read in news that in Milano, Putin warned that he is afraid that there could be also danger of interrupted energy supplies to Ukraine, which in a way is sort of hidden threat. Then, to conclude, I would like to say that we do not accept the detention of Nadia Savchenko, the fact that now she is forced to stay in psychiatric hospital, which could endanger her health and her mental stability. These are methods which were used during Soviet Union to fight against those persons who were vocal, speaking out their dislike with Soviet regime. We also are very much concerned with the increasing political repressions against Crimean Tatars. And just to illustrate how high Ukraine is on the agenda of European Parliament, I will tell you that Euromaidan is one of 3 candidates for Sakharov Prize. In upcoming days, we will know exactly who will be the gainer of this most prestigious human rights prize. I would like to thank Ukrainians who showed to the citizens of European Union what really it means to be European. And now we are open to your questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kalniete. Thank you so much, Mr. ŠTÉTINA. Let me be the first as the moderator. Assuming that the yesterday developments, I mean that the Latvian MP has left the Europe of Freedom and Direct Democracy group that was very famous for its Eurosceptic parties. Does it mean that now Ukraine will have even more support inside the European Parliament and the perspectives will be even more bright?
Not because one member of parliament left, she dissolved the group, but the anti-European speeches and even racist speeches, which are a typical style of this group, will continue. For instance, when we, European People's Party, when we were proposing as a fast-track procedure for autonomous trade measures, then radical left and radical right, including the group you just mentioned, they objected to that and used their procedural right to stop fast track. But with support of other groups and negotiations, we will manage to put it now for the 22nd on the agenda of plenary session of European Parliament, and we will vote for this.
So much. We have one more question from here.
Bogdana Kostyuk, Radio Liberty. May I ask you, do you know how many European parliamentaries are to visit Ukraine as observers of the parliamentary elections? And will your political party send the observers to Ukraine? Thank you.
Answer is yes and yes. We, Foreign Relations Committee, to which I also am member, we will send exclusively big mission, 15 members of parliament, representing all major factions of European Parliament. Besides that, after the elections, in 2 or 3 weeks' time, there will be another European People's Party mission, which will come after the elections to be here and to understand how coalition building is going on and what are problems, and also to extend our support.
We have one more question.
Hi, Information Agency Union. Just to follow up the previous question, as far as you know, right now we have a parliamentary election to the Verkhovna Rada, and my question relates to your expectations. What do you expect from the new Rada in light of necessity in adopting crucial reforms in Ukraine? Thanks.
We, friends of Ukraine in European Parliament and in Europe, we expect the same what Ukrainian people are expecting, that there is a strong government, reform-minded, not only to pass legislation, but also to implement. And in this most urgent needed implementation are the law packages which were just passed on anti-corruption, lustration, prosecutor's office, and there are many others which should be prepared, voted, and then implemented, because Ukraine's future is very much dependent on the capacity of political parties which will be elected in the parliament, having the same pro-European, pro-reform orientation to build a strong coalition. It's not an easy task, because myself, I'm coming from a country where we always, after elections, have at least months to build a coalition. And it's not easy. There are competition, and you have to find compromises on different programmatic points, but that's the only way how to proceed. If there will be division among pro-European forces, then there could be also impediments on reform, legislation, and implementation of reform. And lustration, that is very important.
Voice of America, there are plans of holding elections in the eastern part of Ukraine, occupied part of Ukraine, and people there, pro-Russian people there, say that these plans, these elections are in the frame of Minsk peace plan. What's the opinion of European Parliament on that? Do you think it's lawful election? It can be. It has right.
In the very beginning, I confirmed that European institutions, European Parliament, we stand strongly on the position that there is a territorial integrity of Ukraine, including Crimea. If we translate it in another language regarding elections, it means that the elections have to be conducted according to Ukrainian laws.
Чи є в нас ще запитання, колеги? Then the last question from my side. Assuming that your colleague Rebecca Harms had been denied a visit to Moscow to supervise a court over captured pilot Nadia Savchenko, what do you believe the European Union can do more to facilitate the process of hostages' release?
There are several possible steps to be taken. We already circulated in the European Parliament a letter co-signed by many members of Parliament, not only from European People's Party, but across the different political families, which is addressed to President Putin to free Nadia Savchenko. What is also important, that not only the President of European Council or President of the Commission raised this issue with Russian authorities, but that also the Prime Ministers, heads of state, raised this issue when they are meeting bilaterally with President Putin. It has to be also widely reported back in the media. Publicity is not so high because in the world are many other important crises like Ebola, like ICs. These are main political instruments now. You want to add something?
Я только хотел сказать, что
I would like to add that during the last year, here in Ukraine, got used to say Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine.
Here in Ukraine Crisis Media Center, honored guests, the members of European Parliament from Czech Republic and from Latvia. Thank you so much for your support demonstrated to Ukraine, and we look forward to hear back from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your interest and presence.